This is not what I expected to wake up to this morning right before I go to work. What the hell? Like, actually, what the hell? Hello, this is Daniel Mart back again. I'm an actor and filmmaker based out of South Florida, and right now I'm gonna talk about Reiner and how he was murdered. Like I said right there in the intro, I quite literally woke up to go to work not even 10-15 minutes ago. I popped on my phone just to, check what's going on very fast before I haven't even taken a shower. Like, yes, I basically threw on a shirt right now and I'm making this video. So I was going to go take a shower, but I popped here up on my phone just to check what's going on, clear out all my notifications, see what's going on, this and the other. And one of the notifications I have, it's for the, like the general news notification app I have. And one of the notifications there was Reiner murdered at home. I saw that. I'm like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean murdered at home? So I'm looking at it, and like, yeah, it seems that yesterday, basically 12 hours ago at 3:30, granted California time zone, and I'm in Miami time zone difference. But yeah, yesterday around 3:30, there was an incident at his house, and he, Reiner, and his wife, Michele, were both murdered in their home in California. And I'm like, what? That was literally my reaction. This is kind of still my reaction. I'm kind of just like, what? Maybe it's because of the fact that I quite literally just woke up, and maybe it's because, maybe it's because of the nature of it all, but like, just, well, it seems a little bit unreal. There's the kind of like smart ass version of me that wants to say like, oh, why did he just have good security and all that kind of stuff? There's like a small smart ass version of me that wants to say that, but like that's not appropriate. It's just the fact that these people were murdered and it's such a violent nature, and it's like you just don't expect that, you don't expect people to be like murdered in such a violent nature in any regards, whether it be in a public setting like Charlie Kirk or in a private setting in their homes like Reiner and his wife. And again, maybe it's because of the fact that I'm just like still half awake, I guess you could say, because I just woke up. Maybe it's because of the nature of it, but like, I'm just kind of like what happened here? That's kind of, I'm like, just like, what happened here? I mean, Reiner, he is a mammoth in the industry. If you just look back at his filmography from like the late 80s to throughout the 90s, he had banger after banger after banger. I mean, he had This Is Spinal Tap in 1984. Then he went to do Stand By Me in 86, Princess Bride in 87, When Harry Met Sally in 89, Misery in 1990, A Few Good Men in 92. Like, just that roster, that run of films from the late 80s. I mean, I guess Spinal Tap is 84, so early 80s, but still, from Stand By Me, which is 86, to A Few Good Men in 92, like, that's a run. That's a great run. 86, Stand By Me, 87, Princess Bride, 89, Harry Met Sally, 90, Misery, 92, Few Good Men, and that's just an incredible run. And even after that, he had other great hits. The American President in 95, he had that. He had The Story of Us in 1999, The Bucket List in 07, The Magic of Belle Isle in 2012, Being Charlie in 2015, LBJ in 2016, Spinal Tap 2 this year, like, as a director, he was incredible, and now he's gone. He was also an actor in some stuff. He was in Wolf of Wall Street as I think Jordan, Sir DiCaprio's character's his dad, if I'm not mistaken. He was that. He was in New Girl for a few episodes as Justice Dad. I know that much. I know he was in The Bear. I haven't seen The Bear, but I know he was in The Bear. He also does a bunch of acting gigs over the times. I think the best thing acting-wise he's known for is All in the Family. I think acting-wise is probably the best thing he's known for. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just giving you guys my initial reactions, like, right off the bat. I'm definitely going to be doing a part 2, or continuation of this video, so to speak, where I sit down and give you guys more facts, but I just want to give you guys my raw reactions because what the heck, you know? Like, just murdered at your home. And both him and his wife were murdered, stabbed. So I'm guessing he was, I don't know, I hope to God he was like defending his wife and he just died in the process. Or, I mean, I just don't know what to say. That's what I know. That's all I have to say. I don't know what to say. There are reports, rumors. Keyword there is rumors that his son may have been involved. Officially, they don't have any suspects in custody, officially, from what I understand. But they also have said that they did take out his son from the property. I guess the son was there, maybe visiting, maybe he lives with them, I don't know. And, you know, he was taken off the property. But they, as far as I know, as far as it's been reported, he has not been arrested. So, there are no suspects. So, I know there's already rumors flying around that, oh, the son killed to them. I'm like, no, there's no, from what I can tell, so far, who knows? It's still literally an ongoing investigation. They have the robbery unit, the LAPD robbery division or whatever looking into it. The homicide division is also looking into it, obviously. But as it stands now, there's no confirmed suspects that they are looking into or having custody or whatever. All that's been said is that his son was taken off the property. I believe it's also been reported that one of his daughters also came onto the property, but never got on the property. Like she heard about it and then drove to the house, but wasn't let in because now the house is a crime scene. So I hear that happened as well. I hear Billy Crystal and Larry David also went to the property as well after they heard what happened. At least that's what's being reported on like TMZ. TMZ is the one that I'm getting most of my information from right off the bat because they get everything. But it's also being reported on like New York Times, Variety, a bunch of these other websites. So wow, that's what I have to say. It's just wow. It's sad. I'll say that much. I mean, of course it's sad, and of course it's sad. It's also again just stunning because of just the violent nature of it, and because I guess of how sudden it is. Like if he was sick, with like an illness, and we expect him to die. Like okay, cool, but like again, he was murdered. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it doesn't matter if the murder takes place in a public place, like. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, or in a private setting, like rest in peace, now Rob Reiner and his wife Michele. It doesn't matter where the setting of it happens. Just the fact that it just happened in general, the fact that it was murder, it's violence in every sense of the word. So I think that's the part that most strikes me. And again, this is a beloved figure in Hollywood. Again, all those movies that I told you about, that run from basically 84 to 92. The only stinker you could say that's in that mix is the movie that came out in 1985, The Sure Thing. And even then, I think that was still decently well regarded. I'll be honest, that's the one I haven't seen, but I think it's decently well regarded. I mean, again, he's outside that run of films, like all the other films he's done have all generally been well liked. Based off IMDb scores right here, I think looks like the worst one may be Alex and Emma from 03 that has a 5.5. Oh no, you have North in 94 that has a 4.6. So everything else here is generally speaking, like within the 7 point whatever and up. Generally speaking, you have a few 6 points, but not much. A few 5 points, but even less than that. So. Yeah, like realistically, his lowest rated film is the first thing he ever did, which is just 4.0, Sunny Boy, which is a TV movie that doesn't even have the poster on the thumbnail, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, just Jesus, I don't know. I'm definitely gonna make a follow up to this video, so stay tuned for the second part of this video. But here's just my initial reactions. Wow, yeah, just wow. Next. Alright, so I'm back. I just got home about
I don't know, half an hour ago from work. So yeah, there's 3 things I want to discuss. First off, the death of Rob and Michele Reiner. So, as I said earlier this morning, essentially, my first portion of the video that you just saw, at that time, it was reported that his son may have killed his parents, that Nick Reiner. At this point, it is essentially confirmed that he killed his parents. He's been taken into custody. He's the primary suspect in all this. And yeah, I've had about maybe like 8 hours to process this whole thing. And to be honest, about half of those was because I was at work, so I really didn't process it. But like really looking at the reports of what's happened, looking at the reactions, which I'll get to in a bit. Just think about it. It's just like it's really starting to hit me now that Rob Reiner is gone, and at the hands of his son, which is so his son. There's been reports that he in the past has struggled with depression. He struggled with homelessness, drug addiction, stuff like that. Apparently, about a week or 2 ago at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party celebration, they got into a whole big blowout argument, him and Rob Reiner, father and son. And it's one of those things that everybody could hear the arguments or whatever. As far as I've seen, there's no reports as to what the argument itself was about. But it's one of those things that he has a history of being aggressive and violent, Nick Reiner. So the story goes, so far, from what I understand, is that yesterday, about 24 hours ago, essentially, they got into a very heated argument. Father and son did. And son snapped and stabbed his parents, both of them. Apparently, Rami Reiner, one of his daughters, Nick's sister, she's like one of their neighbors, essentially. Like she lives nearby, essentially. From what I understand, from what I'm seeing, it's that Rob Reiner owns 2 houses, like his house and then like another house like across, like literally across the street or something like that. He's basically his own neighbor, and that's where Rami. I'm not sure if she lives there or if she was just staying there because she was visiting, whatever. But it's one of those things that she was essentially nearby enough because she was across the street to hear the arguments, and she's the one who discovered the body. Rami discovered her parents dead, and I guess when she called police, she accused her brother of murdering their parents. And well, I mean, we're seeing the story develop as we're seeing it now. I mean, again, even though this happened 24 hours ago, the story broke out probably like 12 hours ago, realistically speaking. So maybe even less, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's a story. That's tough. I'm not gonna deny that. That's tough. Me from the inside out, or from the outside in, sorry. I'm even having a hard time processing that. I can't imagine how they're processing that, Rob Reiner and his family. And it's like I said at the beginning of the video this morning, it's one of those things that like Billy Crystal and Larry Bird, they went there to the residence, and reports have it that Billy Crystal, he was like basically in tears leaving the property. So earlier in the video this morning, I discussed all the films that Rob Reiner had done: Spinal Tap, Princess Bride, A Few Good Men, Misery. That run he had from at the beginning of his career, from the late 80s to early 90s. And this is something I've been thinking about this morning. The main thing I've been thinking about this morning is the fact that Princess Bride, I suspect that the Princess Bride and A Few Good Men, for me specifically, they hold a very special place in my heart. Especially for me as an actor. So when I started acting, one of the first scenes I ever did, period, was from The Princess Bride. It was when Wesley, Princess Buttercup, and Vizzini. When Vizzini kidnapped Princess Buttercup, and Wesley comes to save her. When I first started acting, I started doing acting at University of Miami, in their summer camp program. And at the end of the semester, summer camp, whatever semester, we were to put on a performance. Those classes lasted 6 weeks. And it was kind of split in half. The first 3 weeks were like intro to acting type of stuff, right? Intro to acting, intro to like music as well, because it was like a musical theater combination type of thing. And I learned some basic stagecraft and some other stuff like dance and whatever. So those are the first 3 weeks. The second 3 weeks were to put on this performance, to put on this show. And like I said, and also during the second half of the class, those second 3 weeks, my stepbrother, he joined the class. His mom basically said, "Hey, you need to do something during the summer." Danny isn't taking his class at UM, and his mother works at UM. I'm pretty sure she still does to this day. And so he's like, "Hey, you're gonna be in this class," and he was like, "No," and his mom was like, "Yes." So we ended up doing that class together, and that was honestly a really great bonding time between me and my stepbrother during that time. Originally, I was cast as Wesley, and he was cast as Vizzini. And then we had this girl, I think her name was like Natalie or Nicole, something like that. And she was Princess Buttercup. She was from Ohio, I think, or Idaho, something like that, or whatever. And that's one of those things. That's one of those things I really wish I had the footage to show you guys, because I don't. That's one of those few things, acting wise, performance wise, I just don't have any footage of at all, sadly. So, but yeah, the first thing I ever did acting wise, when I was 13 years old, so 13 years ago, funny enough, half of my life too, was me as Vizzini from The Princess Bride. It's funny because I got that scene and I'm like, I don't know what this movie is. I've never heard of it, never seen it. Everybody was like, "You've never seen Princess Bride?" I'm like, "No, I haven't. I'm 13, 14 years old. Why would I see The Princess Bride? I've never even heard of it." This was like also right there at the beginning of my cinema journey, of me discovering cinema. You know what I mean? So yeah, I watched Princess Bride, and that Princess Bride is such a fantastic movie. One of the best fantasy films ever. And yeah, for a lot of reasons, Princess Bride has a very special place in my heart. I mean, that whole movie is incredible. Inigo Montoya, You Killed My Father, Prepare to Die. Not just the fight choreography in that movie, just the acting. Andre the Giant is just fantastic in that movie, and it's such a fantastic movie. And over time, of course, I've seen Misery. I saw Misery. Harry Met Sally. I saw Spinal Tap actually for the first time like a few weeks ago, so I'm a little bit delayed on that. But like, he's had so many great movies. But A Few Good Men, that's the other one that really holds a special place in my heart. For starters, both Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise are some of my favorite actors of all time. Just for starters, and that movie has a big reason to do with that. Demi Moore, fantastic. She was fantastic. That was a great role for her back in the day. Like for me, A Few Good Men has like one of the best screenplays of all time, which makes sense because it's Aaron Sorkin, the same guy who did The Social Network. And yeah, Rob Reiner directed that movie, and I think just a very great movie. Very great movie. And the reason why that movie means so much to me as well is because, similar to A Princess Bride, it's one of those movies that came in a very integral part in my acting journey. The scene right before the final court case, the one where it's Daniel Kaffee, Tom Cruise's character, Joanne, which is Demi Moore's character, and Sam, I forget the actor right now, but those three, like their final arguments before their final court case. I've done that scene so many times in so many different variations. You can actually see them here on my channel, funny enough, some of the variations I've done. I've directed that scene. I did a directing job for that scene for a class back at MDC for my directing 2 class. So I did that. I did that, and I had the actors there, and that was honestly one of the most frustrating jobs I ever had, because I had an actor, the main actor I cast as Kathy, Tom Cruise's character. He was an actor that not many people had faith in, but I'm like, you know what? I see something in you, kid, so I'm gonna take a leap of faith in you. Boy, did it backfire on me, to be honest with you. If you watch the scene here on YouTube, you're gonna ask, well, how did it backfire? Trust me, it's one of those things, like behind the scenes stuff. The guy was just rough to work with. So yeah, but that's neither here nor there. But it's one of those things that just even in that process, even in the difficulties of it all, of having to go through that experience of working on that scene as a director, which, by the way, after a while, I was like this close to literally just kicking him out and me playing Kathy. That's how close it came to that. But yeah, that scene has like basically been a huge stepping stone in my filmmaking, my acting journey in general, and collegial journey as well. Because of that, that was the first time I ever did that scene. It's such a great scene. Such a great scene. It's in the movie. It's shorter. Like if you watch, if you read the actual play, because remember, A Few Good Men started off as a play before it went into the movie. Like that play, that scene in the play is a lot longer, and it's a lot more heftier. It's a lot more heftier. It's a lot more meatier. That's not to say that what's in the movie is nothing. It's still great in the movie, but in the actual like play, it's so much better, if that makes sense. But you know, that's just the magic of Aaron Sorkin. And again, Rob Reiner, he directed that movie, and you know, you can't handle the truth. I mean, I know that's afterwards, but like, to my understanding, you can't handle the truth. That was a film original thing, and because it was so iconic, they eventually actually transpired, or they transferred it, better said, into the play itself afterwards, after the fact. Such a great play, such a great movie. And yeah, MDC was the first time I ever did that scene. And then the second time I did that scene was at FIU, and I did for my stage combat class. And there I finally got to play Kathy, Tom Cruise. And that was a great scene. I did that with my friend at the time, Greg. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like those two movies, Princess Bride and A Few Good Men, they mean so much to me, to be honest with you. And I'll be honest, this morning I didn't really think this would hit me as much as it is right now. But like, really think about it. Thinking what those two movies in particular mean to me, like, just wow. It's like hitting me like a truck. You know, and again, he has other movies, Stand By Me. He has Misery, you know, like those are some great movies. Harry Met Sally, Spinal Tap. I saw this comment where it's like he started his career with Spinal Tap and he ended it with Spinal Tap, and it's one of those things that you're not technically right, because he had a few things even before Spinal Tap, and if that's if you're only counting director stuff, by the way. But you know, that's a nice little thing to think about, you know, I guess, in a sense, because he had a TV movie, and I think he did a few episodes of shows even before Spinal Tap, so there's that. But like, he's brought so much joy to so many people from his work in All in the Family and all his movies. I mean, keep in mind, I didn't know this till like today, essentially, but like, he was also like the main force behind Castle Rock, which is the production company that funded and produced Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, two other incredible films, you know, and also the Castle Rock, they're the production company behind Seinfeld. Yeah, that show, Seinfeld. And Seinfeld is one of the funniest shows ever, period. So, you know, Soup Nazi, you know, that's the first thing that pops into my mind, the Soup Nazi, you know, or rather betting on who can hold out on not jerking off the longest, you know, like stuff like that. Or, you know, like, not that there's anything wrong with that, you know, that whole bit as well. Yeah, of course you have Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile. The Green Mile has like one of the most beautifully tragic endings when you think about it ever, with Michael Clark Duncan as well, like, and Tom Hanks in that role too as the warden. Like that, I haven't seen that movie in a couple years, honestly, to be honest, so I should rewatch it. But that's great. Shawshank Redemption, just another one. he's brought so much joy to the world throughout his film work, throughout his artistry, so to speak. And it really is sad the fact that he died, but two, the way that he died, him and his wife. I know his wife did do some stuff. She was also in the industry. I think she was more in the music industry, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be honest, I'm not that familiar with his wife, so that's why I'm not really commenting on her. But even then, like, it's still a tragedy that she died, you know. And then the one thing that really upsets me, I guess even more than the way he died, is just a response to his deaths, to their deaths. I mean, Rob Reiner more specifically, because he was the more famous out of the two of them, but still. I didn't expect this to get political. I'll start off with that. I didn't expect this to be political. I wouldn't have thought this would be a politically charged death, in a sense. But here we are, because now everything has to be political. Everything has to be divided. So, you know, Rob Reiner, he was a massive critic of the MAGA movement. I'll be honest, I didn't know about that. I could have probably taken a shot in the dark and said, yeah, he probably doesn't like MAGA because he's part of Hollywood. You know, I could have taken a shot in the dark, but it's not really one of those things I ever care to research. Oh, what's Rob Reiner's political affiliations? What are his political beliefs, right? But that being said, some of the responses that we're seeing from the right, from the Republican side, especially a very important political figure who is currently running our country, I think the response to his death is absolutely disgusting and wicked, honestly. Like, the right, a few months ago, were crying, you know, literally crying, and I was sympathizing with them. If you looked at my video for Charlie Kirk, the left was making fun of Charlie Kirk's death, saying how he deserves this because of X, Y, and Z, this, and the other, whatever. And the right was calling foul. Like, hey, you shouldn't be making fun of his death because this is a person who had a family and the nature of how he died, this, and the other. And now the tables are flipped. And now the right, the Republicans, want to cheer Rob Reiner's death. And the left want to mourn. And I think that's despicable, wicked, vile. The response to this is vile. Like, I don't care what his political beliefs are. It's the fact that he died. The fact that he was murdered by his son. Both of them, husband and wife, were murdered by their son. And this wasn't even a politically charged situation on top of that. You know, Charlie Kirk, that was a more politically charged situation. This is a family dispute gone awry. You know? Whether he had been a Republican or Democrat or anything in the middle, I don't care. I don't think we should be celebrating people's dying like this, period. And I think the right, the Republicans, are being very hypocritical because of what they said just a few months prior, back in September, because of Charlie Kirk. I don't think it's right. And honestly, what President Trump said was honestly just vile. It was despicable. The fact that Rob Reiner suffered from Trump derangement syndrome, that is lunacy. That is straight up lunacy. And it pains me to see, like, the person in charge, the top leader in charge, and this is how he decides to react to a murder of somebody he disagrees with. Like, oh, he deserves to die, but still rest in peace. Like, no, that's vile. And anybody who agrees with it, I don't care. Like, this is one of those things. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I do not care. Anybody who celebrates anybody's death, whether it be Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner, whether it be Charlie Kirk or anybody else's death, anybody who does that you're wrong. You're wrong. And not to get all Holy Spirit, you know, or on you guys or whatever, but, like, you know, repent for your sins, honestly, because that's a wicked way of mentality, honestly. You know, not to get all fire and brimstone, but, like, that's a wicked sense of morality, that you are wishing death upon anybody who opposes you. That's just wrong. The fact that you're celebrating it is wrong. I don't care. You know, that's just wrong. And the fact that the main person in charge of our great country is celebrating the murder of two people in a family dispute, which is what essentially this comes down to, is just disgusting. And the fact that he's trying to make it all about himself on top of that is just disgusting. You can, like I said back with Charlie Kirk, You can disagree with his political views or religious views or whatever. You could disagree with him, but and you're okay. That's all right to disagree with him, sure. But it's a completely different thing once you're cheering the death of him and his wife, and just in the violent nature that it occurred. It's despicable, and I think that's the part that really broke me more at the end. I think that's the part that's really breaking my heart more, even more so than the death. It's just the wicked and foul reactions, the demonic reactions, honestly, to his death. And that's what broke me with Charlie Kirk, and that's what's going to break me now too. It's not the fact that they died per se, and don't get me wrong, I am sorry they died. I was just crying right now when I was talking about Princess Bride. I am sorry they died, but if anything, I'm more hurt, so to speak, about just the reactions to this, because this isn't right. This just straight up is not right. Before I made this video, this portion of the video, I actually bought Spinal Tap and Princess Bride, both of them on 4K from the Criterion Collection. I could have gone to Barnes & Nobles, but they were regular price, $50 each, because I wanted the 4Ks for both of them. 4K for Princess Bride for sure, because it comes in a digibook. Spinal Tap, I kind of debated a little bit, but I'm like, screw it. I saw a 4K unboxing of the Spinal Tap Criterion 4K. I saw an unboxing of that. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let me get the 4K. That's the one thing I will say, but I'm going to comment on Criterion very fast. There are 4Ks, and I've said this in the past too, but sometimes I don't understand why some Blu-rays get a slipcover and some of them don't, and why the slipcover sometimes only applies to the 4Ks. I'll admit though, when they do have a slipcover for the 4Ks, they do make it a little bit special, the packaging. So you know what, I'm like, let me spend just a little bit extra for that. You know, it seems like a good time given the circumstances, and they have a 30% sale right now going on their website. So yeah, it's sad how he died. It really is tragic how he died, the manner that he died. I truly hope that he's resting in peace. I really hope that he's resting in peace. A Few Good Men and A Princess Bride mean so much to me. They were great stepping stones in my acting journey. Whew. So there's that. Whew. And just the reactions to his death are deplorable. The negative reactions to his death are deplorable. Like, and anybody who's celebrating that is, like I said, not to go fire and brimstone on you guys, but repent. Just repent for your sins, because that's disgusting behavior. I said this with Charlie Kirk, and I'll say it again. And I wasn't expecting to say it for this death, because there should have been nothing politically geared with this death. But I guess everything has to be political nowadays. So yeah, yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off. Rest in peace, Rob Reiner and Michele Reiner.